Where were you for the big moments? The can't-miss, history-making moments that more than rock the world, they dent the entire universe. Get ready. It's time for your next life-changing, unforgettable moment. Because the greatest sporting event is coming to the greatest arena on Earth. It's more than the Super Bowl. It's the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. February 11th, 2024. The Super Bowl happens here.
What is up, Raider Nation? Welcome into the Silver and Black Show presented by Cox. You know me, Erin Coscarelli, alongside my guy, my all-pro tackle, Lincoln Kennedy. Link, it is good to see you, and it's good to be back.
It's good to have you back, EC. We definitely missed you.
Missed you, too. Well, guess what? I've got some good news.
Oh, good.
It is officially official. Guess what? The Super Bowl
Party
is coming to Las Vegas, of course. Announced on Wednesday, the biggest day in sports will be making its debut at Allegiant Stadium. I can't think of a better venue in 2024. Of course, you know Las Vegas knows how to put on a show. Link, your reaction.
The biggest sports party in the world is the Super Bowl, except for the teams that are playing in it, obviously. But yeah, you talk about a week long of festivities, everything that builds up. Las Vegas knows how to entertain, so there'll be plenty of things to do. Allegiant Stadium is beautiful. You'll be shown off to a worldwide crowd.
Yep.
What's not to like about this in 2024? And plus, it's a day before my birthday. So.
Oh, we'll be celebrating in
Well,
style.
I have to refinance my house and give like kids college fund away to get tickets.
To even buy a ticket? That game's going to be expensive. Well, Mark Davis and Roger Goodell, of course, spoke earlier this week on the Super Bowl announcement. Take a listen.
First thing I'd like to say is Las Vegas, the Super Bowl is coming. And I think there's some people that I'd like to thank, starting with Roger Goodell, the National Football League, and my 31 other partners for trusting us with the most valuable asset that the NFL has. It's a big day for the Raiders. It's a big day for the city of Las Vegas. I think it's a marriage made in heaven, I'll say. Some others may use a different word, but we are just really, really excited.
And I think, you know, as a market, we always looked at Las Vegas as an entertainment capital and someplace where we wanted to improve our events and bring a broader audience to that. We're looking forward to having the draft there, which has been on the card for a while. Pro Bowl was scheduled last year, as you know, and we didn't play that. And we're excited. And we think this is a market that I think we can do a lot more than just Raider events, but NFL events.
Well, Link, before we move on, I think we need to marinate in how big of a moment this is for Mark Davis, because I firmly believe when he envisioned bringing the NFL to Vegas, I think bringing the Super Bowl to Vegas was certainly top of mind.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And you've been to Allegiant Stadium. You've seen the suites and everything. This place is set up to entertain, to host, and you're going to have a worldwide audience. I mean, people will be clamoring over the tickets to get to Allegiant. Allegiant has turned into a landmark for Las Vegas. The people who are coming in town, whether they're Raider fans or not, they're going to Allegiant Stadium to see games because they want to see, they like nice things and new things.
That's right.
It's really good for the Raiders. It's really good for the city as well.
Absolutely. Really great for the Las Vegas market. We do have an announcement to talk about. Earlier today, the NFL did announce they are, in fact, postponing the Raiders and Browns game because of the COVID-19 outbreak in Cleveland, which means the game will be getting moved to Monday at 5 Eastern time, 2 p.m. Pacific time. Obviously, as a Raider fan, you have to be a little bit frustrated about this. How do you feel as a player?
I'm as a former player, I'm definitely upset. As a Raider, I'm upset. The fact is that you're making special accommodations for a team that you came into the season said that you weren't going to do on a national scale. And now you've got a game that's supposed to be on Saturday that has already been publicized and marketed, flexed the schedule, had the Raiders prepare a short week, and now you've got a team that's going to have to wait till Monday to play a game, which forces them on a short week on the back end as they play the Denver Broncos afterwards. Totally unfair. I can't stand it.
Yeah, it has to be so frustrating as a player, because my next question to you was going to be, how do you navigate dealing, obviously, lots of Browns players on the COVID-19 list? If we can show who are the current players on the COVID-19 list. Most notably, you have Baker Mayfield, but their team's leading receiver in Jarvis Landry. My question for you was, before the postponement, how were the Raiders going to even plan to scheme against so many possible different lineups? And your answer for that is?
You don't scheme against lineups, you scheme against scheme. Their philosophy, their offensive and defense philosophy. No matter who lines up from in front of you on the offense, you know that you're going to be playing against a 4-3 defense that plays primarily cover 2, or whatever the situation is. The Cleveland Browns' identity, both offense and defense, have been established. It's been enhanced by certain players like Baker Mayfield and stuff like that, but it's already been established. There's a primary. So you're not playing against the players per se in this situation. You're playing against a scheme.
Yeah, again, though, frustrating, because you didn't think you were going to have to scheme against Baker Mayfield, and now there is a great possibility he may be in the lineup come Monday.
What I'm most worried about is the anxiety that goes into preparation week. Athletes get into a routine, a regiment, to where they know what they're doing every day. They know where they're supposed to be. One of the hardest things to do is wait for a Monday night game. And naturally, when you have it coming up and scheduled on a week. But now you talk about they were ready to get on a plane and fly out early, play on Saturday, and now they have to wait till Monday. So they're going to back up travel, backs up your next week's preparation. It's just really a pain. It really is.
Really. I mean, they were supposed to fly out today.
Yeah.
And so now, like you mentioned, they're going to have to wait. Now they'll be on a short week. Disadvantage certainly happens for the Raiders. Well, not sure if Baker Mayfield will be playing. We know that guy, Myles Garrett, will. Lincoln Kennedy will break down on how we're going to slow him down. Stick around.
The Silver and Black Show is brought to you by Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders, and by Allegiant, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Low fares, nonstop flights. Book now only at Allegiant.com. And by Las Vegas. Vegas is the greatest arena on earth. Plan now at visitlasvegas.com.
I'm laughing because those are two imposing.
Oh, Huntley was hit. That's loose. It's free. Myles Garrett picks it up, takes it in, touchdown!
They didn't call it an incompletion.
Holy Toledo, what a play!
All right, we are back in action here with Lincoln Kennedy. Two of the very best going head-to-head this weekend. Of course, it is our matchup of the week presented by Microsoft. And you saw the man right there, Myles Garrett, makes a mess of your offensive line. Kolton Miller will be tasked with trying to slow him down. How do you, Link, envision Mr. Miller being able to have an effect?
Well, I will say this, that Kolton Miller is having an all-pro year. It might not get as much notice as he should, but I think he's definitely played as an all-pro. Myles Garrett is announced maybe one of the defensive players of the year. I obviously have him 15 sacks. And he's played phenomenally. One of the things that have aided him is having a guy like Jadeveon Clowney on the other side of him.
Yep.
Because that's really, you can't focus on just one like you've been able to do in the past. So it's going to be a tall task to see. And it'll be interesting to see where they place Myles Garrett, if they're going to try to take advantage of Brendan Parker, who struggled in pass pro, or if they're going to continue to keep him over Kolton Miller.
That was going to be my follow-up, because Jadeveon Clowney just announced, unfortunately, is going to also not be available for the Browns. Fortunate for the Raiders, I suppose, but on the COVID-19 list. So then what do you decide to do with Myles Garrett? Does he shift? Because that was going to be my follow-up. Jadeveon Clowney makes that defensive line even scarier.
Yeah,
what do you do?
In this instance, in this late of the season, what you would do as a defensive line coach, you would go to Myles. Say, do you want to play over the left tackle or do you want to play over the right tackle? Because based on his tendencies and his patience and his familiarity and his comfort level, that's what you want your defensive end to excel at. Now, naturally, if Jadeveon Clowney is down and not going to be able to play this game, he has the option of going back and forth, and he'll probably pick the lesser of the two, maybe Brandon Parker. The last time these two teams played, Brandon Parker did play well against Myles Garrett, but he was hobbled by an ankle. So I don't know if that comes into consideration this time around, but it's going to be a tall task. Wherever he goes, because he's a difference maker and he's leading a team in sacks, you're going to have a chip or someone to help whichever tackle.
Absolutely interesting perspective for sure. Well, listen, the Browns defense for the best in the league. Derek Carr, of course, he knows he is up against one scary defensive line. Here is Carr on the challenge ahead.
mean, they're a really good front. We know I've played against a lot of these players, maybe not all at once, but I've played against a lot of these players, and they're all super talented, some of the best in the whole NFL and the whole world. And we'll have our work cut out for us. And again, it's the NFL. The games they're won in the trenches. And it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a great competition. And great challenge for us as an offense. To see if we can not only move the ball. I think we can move the ball, but not saying that we can just move it on anybody. But I feel like we've done that well. But we got to score points, and to do that against this defense is going to take all 11 because these guys are really good, not just on the D-line. They're really good everywhere.
Scoring points will be a priority. The Raiders have struggled certainly in the last 3 games. I think they're averaging 17 points per game over the last 3 weeks. Weather will also be an issue, yes. Which, of course, let's talk about the issues, Link, you are seeing when it comes to the run game, when it comes to the offensive line, because with a game that has some weather, some inclement weather, you're going to rely on your ground attack. Yeah. What's the deal there?
Well, what's been inconsistent is the offensive line play, especially on the right side. It's one of the things that the Raiders are trying to focus and pay attention to. More importantly, getting Josh Jacobs going right downhill right now. They've got to do a better assignment and focus on the front 7 or the defense's front 7. If they block the front 7, then you're either putting Jacobs one-on-one or safety or making a corner make a tackle, which is an advantage running back. And in this instance, the Raiders haven't been able to do a good job. But if the weather is as bad as it's going to be projected to be, I think it was like 41 degrees, possibly rain, if I'm not mistaken, the EC, then they're going to have a game like they did the last time they went in there and beat the Browns. They did it behind a nice running game and a bunch of road graders up front.
Yeah. They do have a blueprint for how to get it done. They're just going to need to
do it.
Do it. That's right. Speaking of the run game, Link, the Browns do boast one of the best rushing attacks in the league, courtesy, of course, of Nick Chubb. As an offensive lineman, what have you seen from them that you appreciate that they are doing well when it comes to their ground attack?
Their offensive line coach was my old offensive line coach, close with the Raiders, Bill Callahan. And so I'm very familiar with their running offense. In 2000, we led the league with a #1 rush offense due to Callahan's tutelage when he was here. So what they do is mention what I spoke of just the last part we talked about. Their front 7 blocks the defense's front 7s. They open up holes and they stay on block. So when you start a block, you need to sustain a block. You don't really have to move a guy out of the way for a hole to be able to be created, but you have to stay with them and be patient, allow the running back to reach the line of scrimmage. So there's a term we use is win the line of scrimmage. Your offensive line going forward either stalemates the defense or pushes them back, and that opens up holes. So that's got to be the natural tendency for any offensive line to have success, and that's why the Cleveland Browns are one of the better ones in the league.
And it's going to be a tall task for Gus Bradley. With that, let's give some love to our rookie, Divine Diablo, who actually has filled in quite nicely for Denzel Perryman, who's dealing with an ankle injury, will not be available for the Raiders and Gus Bradley as they go against the Browns. A very, very, very important game for the Raiders' playoff chances. What are you liking from what you're seeing out of the Rook? I'm
liking the fact that he's making the best opportunity out of his, making the best out of his opportunity. Or better said, the fact is that you're thrown into the fire late in the season. He's been preparing for this moment. They have had high hopes of him since they drafted him in the 3rd round, and he's made the best of his opportunities. That's all you ask for a rookie to do. He will grow and he will excel and get better as games go on. But right now, he's making the best of his opportunity out there, and he's doing a pretty solid job. It's hard to replace Denzel Perryman, who is another guy who's having an all-pro year. Yeah, and Diablo is doing a really good job. I mean, he is certainly leading the tackles, I think, on the team, for the team, certainly. So it is a must-win game. I said it before. I'm going to say it again. How are they going to do it? JT the Brick sits down with head coach Rich Bisaccia. That conversation coming at you next. Frustration is a wasted emotion, a message delivered by interim head coach Rich Bisaccia earlier in the week. It is easy to be frustrated by the results of the last few weeks, but even with everything that has happened to this team, we still have an opportunity this week to knock off a contending AFC opponent and throw ourselves right back into the mix. Well, for the Raiders, holding on to frustration will result in that opportunity slipping away. JT the Brick sat down with Coach Bisaccia to discuss the Raiders' plan to take care of business in Cleveland.
Coach, let's jump in. 5 of the last 6 games have been a bit of a struggle, and statistically, the numbers are skewed because of the Kansas City games. As you were averaging 33-plus points a game, now down to 17.2. So what have you done to get the offense going, light a fire under them heading into Cleveland?
Yeah, obviously you play a game with 5 turnovers. You have no choice not only to get points, but to get any kind of a stat. So I think we've had a good week of practice. We've slowed it down a little bit because of the short week and given ourselves a chance to maybe hone up on some details and some fundamentals that we can certainly all build upon. And we'll see what the product looks like come the cool weather up there in Cleveland.
Now, Coach, you've been doing this a while. You don't have the experience no coach does at dealing with a team that has a massive COVID outbreak, and this is fluid as we sit down and talk. What's it like for your coaching staff scouting the players that might be stepping in, the backups, the practice squad players as you play the Browns?
Well, our personnel people have done a good job of getting us the list of guys that could possibly come up that have been on practice squad, but a lot of credit goes to Cleveland. If you look at what they did last year, the last game of the season, they had to go to Pittsburgh to win a game to get into the playoffs. They were missing coaches. They were missing players because of COVID. They won that game. And, they've had Case Keenum play before already this year in Denver, and I think he threw for over 200 yards. They had a back rush for over 180 yards. And so to some degree, we're going to go in there and play the jersey numbers that show up, and it really is going to become about our performance and how we respond in the game.
Let's talk about the Browns running game. 4th overall. Nick Chubb is about to get to 1,000 yards. What do you see with him on tape? Because he can run between the tackles, but if he bounces outside and you don't tackle him or gang tackle him, he's known to break a couple big ones.
Yeah, he's a really good player. And I've been with Coach Callahan before, the line coach, and he knows how to run the football. He knows how to scheme you up. He knows how to take advantage of the things that he can do really well and maybe some of the things that we haven't done well to attack us. So it'll be an interesting game. They're going to run the football first, and we have to do a good job of not only tackling in the box, but you alluded to being able to space tackle Chubb on the outside.
You mentioned Devon Diablo last week and Malcolm Coots. Let's stay with that. They're fresh. They are really popping off the screen on tape, and you got to like that. Your coaches, you've done a great job having these guys ready. How much are you going to count on them for this game on the road in Cleveland?
Well, it looks like they'll both be up ready to play, and they'll both get more snaps than they've gotten ever before in this particular season. So we're looking forward to them improving and playing well again this week.
And coming off the last game for Josh Jacobs, he's a leader, he's a captain on this team. What has that been like in his week of preparation? Because this could be his game, Coach. If he has a big game on the ground, picking up first downs, he could be the difference maker that the Raider Nation expects.
Sure. When he plays well, usually we play well. And he's done a good job not only in run game for us, but in pass protection. He's made some runs on his own to some degree. He's gotten himself in the end zone. We have to do a better job of holding the football all the way around and expect him to be a force in the game.
One last one. We take it one game at a time. But an opportunity to go 7-7 and be ahead of Cleveland in the playoff race with a win here. I would assume that's part of the big motivation for this team to get right back into this playoff race.
We think so. I think the guys are very aware of where we are in the race, and certainly a win does a lot for us to keep the race alive.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
The Silver and Black Show has been brought to you by 1800, the best taste in tequila and official partner of the Raiders. And by Chevron with Techron gives you unbeatable cleaning and mileage. Chevron, together ahead.
All right, welcome back into the show. EC Link back with you. Let's talk, Link, about a guy who has really stepped up big time for the Raiders. In fact, over the last 3 weeks, he has had the most receptions in the NFL. He is second in yards with 3 straight 100-yard games. You know who I'm talking about. No doubt, Hunter Renfrow has been a total bright spot for the Silver and Black team. Just call him Mr. Reliable because the man is always available on third down.
I call him a part-time high school math teacher the way he looks sometimes, but no doubt about it. He's turning out to be one of Derek's favorite targets. Look, he's on pace to get 1,000 yards as well as 100 receptions, and this slot receiver has come such a long way since to take him out of Clemson and more reliable targets. You know what I appreciate him most about EC?
What is that?
Is the fact that it doesn't matter where Derek puts the ball, more times than not, he's going to catch it. I mean, he has hands like that.
It's crazy. Yeah. How has he been able to evolve so importantly into this offense?
Well, one thing is the trust and the chemistry that he has with Derek. Derek knows how he runs a lot of his double move routes, and he knows where to put the football, so he's relying upon him to do things like that. And it's just magnified and grown and gotten better as the seasons have gone on. And it's really fun to watch because, you know, that my partner has third in Renfro when he comes up there on third down, more times than not, more reliable. And with Darren Waller being down,
that was what I was going to say.
It's great to have have a go-to guy that you can rely on.
Well, and that's the biggest thing, is he steps up big time
Certainly.
when you need somebody.
Certainly.
And as a slot receiver, he is a guy that, like you mentioned, on pace for 1,100 yards. Not a lot of people saw that coming, and he's really evolved into the offense. 13 catches as a pro. I think that's the most he's ever had in a game. And, of course, it was against the Chiefs last week. But certainly a positive. As we look to this week and taking on the Browns, I wanted to ask you one last important question is, how important is this game for the Raiders?
Huge.
Huge.
Again, if you have any playoff aspirations, you have to win the rest of your remaining football games. Unfortunately, because they dipped in the middle of the season at this point and they're behind 500, 6-7, they have to, or under 500, they have to win these remaining football games. And I said it earlier in the show, Erin, it's because they're playing AFC opponents and they're playing opponents who are also in that hunt or that division picture. And the Cleveland Browns have something to play for as well. So this is a very important game.
Yeah, of course. Well, Link, as we enter the last remaining days of 2021, I'd like to take some time to let you guys know, with the new goals and new years and new aspirations, a big one for me, Link, will be gratitude. So with that, I did want to take some time to say thank you. I love my job and I love my work family. And when I needed some time and some space to take care of my father, who was sick, the Raiders organization did not hesitate when they said the words, family first. I cannot begin to describe how much that meant to me, and I know how much it means to my dad, Bob. Having people support you in times like this really helps you keep going forward. So Raider Nation, and to my Raider family, I would like to say I am forever grateful. Thank you so much for supporting me the way that you have. And that'll do it for our show. For Lincoln Kennedy, I'm Erin Coscarelli. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.